Well, welcome to the Just Jim radio show. We're here in another beautiful day in paradise. I'm in Florida recording today, and we're experiencing a little bit of rain, but some beautiful sunshine, and life is just continually evolving around us. This show is really meant to bring some inspiration or information or encouragement, support, a few ideas and concepts that might open a few windows and let you see easier, or doorways you can walk through of opportunity to know yourself better, see life different, maybe just have a little bit more fun. We do that in a few different ways. We do that with discussions, conversations, interviews, sometimes small group discussions. So it's you never know what's going to show up on Just Jim, and Just Jim is me just being me. I happen to be the pastor at Sarasota Center of Light, and I'm called Pastor Jim, Reverend Jim, and actually it's just Jim, and that's why we're here today, sharing what we are. And joining me today for this show is Tony St. Tome LAVORGNA, a gentleman I met last year and heard his music and heard his story and listened to who he is as a person, and we've connected in a way that's really great, that I enjoy being able to experience that. A singer-songwriter, motivational musician, and he writes those kind of songs that are positive, self-empowering. He blends pop and rock and rap and country to create what he calls positive pop rock. He's performed, sitting down, over 6,000 shows in 23 countries around the world. He's at 18 CDs and a new one out called Awake. So today's show is, talking about Awake in 2020. Hey, Tony, glad to have you here.
Same here, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Beautiful day in paradise, and we've got so much going on in our lives today that having music like yours can really help make a difference for how we experience ourselves and how we experience the world. Tell me a little bit more about this idea of what we really need right now in 2020. Awake.
Awake. Yeah. Well, I think everybody's waking up, and some people are waking up quicker than others. And those that are on the forefront are helping the other ones around us to wake up. And I believe it's waking up to your personal power and letting go of being victimized by all the things that are going on. A lot of people feel like the world is ending and, oh my God, can it get any worse? It's just gotten so bad. It's so bad. I believe you get what you focus on. And if you can rise above the situation, you can find some strength and transform yourself. The concept album that I just put out is all about a person who is waking up to their personal power and letting go of feeling victimized. As he starts to listen to different messages that he starts to receive, he feels empowered. So it's like a 3-part story, 3 chapters in the CD.
Oh, so the CD is like a progression of awakening.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a concept that's unique and, hold it, you ready for this one? Inspiring.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being that you have that positive energy to your music, and that's so important nowadays. It really is. So tell me about how this kind of came about. It's always a journey. You've got a concept, but then you start sitting with it, and it starts sort of like popcorn showing up as the kernels pop in the pan, so to speak.
Yeah, for me, I got the initial download, or I just received the message when I was in Key West last year in 2019. In February, I was down there on vacation for my birthday. And I remember I was floating around the pool, and all of a sudden something just hit me like, you should do a concept record. And I'm like, I've never done one out of 17 CDs I made. So this concept came through, and it said, you're going to do 3 chapters. And it's going to be called Awake. I'm like, okay. And, as I thought about it more, I was told that these songs are just going to start falling into place. You're going to get different songs at different times. I didn't know how many songs it would be. I usually I like to write songs that are in a pop rock format, meaning like, they're about 3.5 minutes long. They're structured in a certain way where it goes verse, chorus, verse, chorus. And on this particular CD, I knew that I wasn't going to follow that structure anymore. I was just going to let it just happen. So some songs are 1.5 minutes, other songs are 4 minutes long, and they all don't necessarily follow a particular format. And I explored a lot of different styles also this time, and I always have. I've never been one to get locked down to rock, pop, country, R&B, any particular style. I love all styles of music. And I think more importantly, with this type of message, you want to reach more people. So the more diverse you can be in the styles of music, the more diverse people you can meet. So I was real excited as it started just coming together. It just sort of took on a life of its own. I'd written a bunch of songs for it, and then I found songs that I had from the past that I had never finished. I mean, some of the songs that are on here are like 8 or 9 years old, but they were just reworked to just fall into place for the CD. So it was definitely a fun journey. And I never knew that it was going to be 22 songs, but 22 happens to be an interesting number for me. I was born on February 22nd, 1968 at 4:22. So a lot of twos and 22. And another interesting thing about this record is it happens to be 68 minutes long. Well, I was born in 1968, and the album is filled with a bunch of eclectic different songs. And the Beatles' White Album has 30 songs that was released in 1968 that is very similar to this in the sense of it's just an eclectic group of songs. You go from Blackbird to Helter Skelter. And this does the same thing. It has a wide variety of styles. So just a lot of interesting things came together for this particular record.
Wow, and 22 is a master vibration number, leaning towards the spiritual aspect of it. And then the idea that I'm hearing, I'm experiencing you tell me that you sort of like received, and this was kind of downloaded, and you were almost guided or carried along this process where, as you stayed open and present, you were able to like see what you were shown, so to speak, and then it kind of rose up inside of you as part of your creation process and became what was going on. And I'm looking at the 22 tracks and looking at all the different names on them. There's some really cool names on these songs, and I've listened to many of them. It's really a great opportunity today, like right now, because like you said, everybody's trying to wake up, to have some piece of this puzzle, and all of them being different, like you said, affect each individual in a different way, and how important that can be right now.
Yeah, it's been really interesting for me to just explore this way of writing, in a sense of being limitless, not putting limitations on, oh, that sounds too Spanish, or that sounds too country, or that sounds too rock, or that sounds whatever. It's just like, nope, just throw it into the mix. And what I also did with this record is I added a lot of sound effects and a lot of like atmospheric sounds to just sort of bring you into the moment and bring you in. So each song transcends into the next. The 3 chapters are separated by alarm clocks. So the first alarm clock is very harsh because that's the problems or the things that are going on in the world for our character. The second alarm clock is a little lighter, and the third alarm clock is a rooster. And so the last section has more nature sounds, and the middle section is where the person starts to receive messages. And in the first one, you'll hear different news clips of homelessness or racism or what's going on with the American veterans and how we're treating them. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to set up a scenario where this is what people feel and see when they turn on the news every day and they're getting bombarded by all this stuff. And then in chapter 2, it's like there's a way to get out of it. You don't need to stay down in the trenches. You can rise above it. So by the third chapter, this person has woken up, and then he starts to sense that he is in control. And it's there's a song called I Woke Up, and there's another song called New Dawn, All Attitude. So it's like he realizes that it's his attitude. He can't change the world, but he can change the world on how he perceives it. So yeah, it's been quite a journey.
And I'm sitting here listening to you talk, man, and I'm like, hold it. No wonder we're doing this show about this right now. I mean, can you hear what you're talking about? Here, you're floating in a pool in Key West, and the next thing that you see is that you've got this concept CD moving through you, and here we are, after it's been released, having a conversation about what it means, and it's like you've almost written it like a script of what's happening in the world and how what's going on through this process of this CD relates to the not just last several months, I guess, life in general, but it really pertains to what's happening right now, and that's such a gift that you can offer to be able to put this out and have it synchronistically fit where we are all right now and to support and encourage and inspire people. That's just amazing to hear that process and that story and how relevant it is in this moment.
Yeah, it surprised me. The first song that I chose to release, and it was during the pandemic, was a song called Relax. I had made a lyric video for it, and I put it out, and I got such a great response from it because everyone was saying things like, wow, I really needed to hear this today. Wow, this song really resonates with me. And some of the lyrics are relax, release the weight of the world that's on your back, you know? And it's interesting how it was written in 2019, but it was so relevant at the time that I finally was done and put out. It wasn't my doing, it was divine timing.
Right. Right.
So it was just put out at the right time to go, here, man, people need to hear this because they need to just sit back and just, okay, breathe. We're going to get through this.
Yeah. Speaking of breathing, one of them is called Breathing with the Trees.
Yes.
I mean, you don't even have to say much more. Well, please do. But for me, it's like, that's where I am almost on a daily basis. I mean, I sit in my backyard or sitting at my deck and I look out into my back garden, and it is just filled with all kinds of nature. And I've got an oak on every corner, a palm tree, all kinds of things planted in this garden that I just connect with. And this idea of breathing with the trees, man, that feels so right. You're totally connecting with and joining with nature and feeling that with that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. I have a similar yard here, and we are surrounded by trees. And what I feel about trees is it's an exchange of oxygen. And they're breathing and we're breathing, and we're both coexisting, but we're allowed. We help each other exist and breathe. And it's just reconnecting with nature and just going outside and just that reconnection. I think helps people get more grounded and just get back to nature. I think we're so caught up in technology sometimes that it's hard to just go out and just sit underneath a tree or just be without your phone. It's like, okay, I'm just going to hang out here and just look around, be in the moment. And that's really what that song is about. It's just reconnecting.
Well, and I'll tell you, I mean, I really literally do that on a daily basis. And something I started doing this past couple of months is, for some reason, I decided to buy some bird seed, and decided at the same time, I remember when I was a kid tossing cubes of bread in the backyard. I've been doing that every morning, and I've attracted quite a zoo in my back. Well, you have a backyard. I want to clarify something. I said back garden. You see, my wife is Scottish. My family is Scottish. And in Scotland, they don't have backyards or front yards like we have here. They have back gardens and front gardens.